Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I want to thank you for checking out my channel. Welcome to the first One-Eyed Jack Reviews YouTube channel performance. This is the first review. This is the premiere. So I want to welcome you and let you know what this is all about. I am the One-Eyed Jack. And these are reviews of my gateway YouTube channel creators for Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Babylon 5, etc. That includes Stargate, that includes Dune, that includes Conan the Barbarian, that includes comic books, etc. All things media that influence and drive Western culture. So if you like what you see and hear as the request that everybody makes, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. At One-Eyed Jack's channel, which will be listed in the usual place. And again, this stream is rated R. That's mainly because of me, not necessarily the clips you'll be seeing. Now these are presentations by what I consider valiant creative folks who decided they had something to say about our beloved culture. Initially, they've chosen YouTube to say it. In this installment, I'm going to be introducing you to my top tier content creators on YouTube. That's not all the top tier creators, but these are my top tier creators. From when I got sent home from work in 2020 to work from home, and I decided I was going to get into YouTube for entertainment because nothing anywhere else was really interesting to me. So I started with these folks. You're going to see That Star Wars Girl, Nerdrotic, Midnight's Edge, Heel versus Babyface, The Critical Drinker, and Clownfish TV will be rounding out this episode. What I want to start with is Anna, because That Star Wars Girl was one of the first channels I was introduced to. And what drew me to her channel, her YouTube streams, was how she spoke very well, very concisely, how her diction and her attitude when she spoke was engaging those that were watching. Self-depreciating, like everyone else, as you will see, was part of it. But also, she has a very good cadence to the way she speaks. She's not afraid of just going way out on the limb, using words in this language and others. And also, she's very endearing, but she gets us. And by us, I mean, no matter what age you are, if you love the product of Star Wars, Star Trek, then you're going to really enjoy her commentary on how what we believe were wonderful characters created by geniuses, and that goes all the way back, have been demeaned, have been destroyed by the current situation in Western culture. So her name is, again, Anna, That Star Wars Girl, and on behalf of William Shatner, who she got to meet and fawn over, have a wonderful time kind of chatting with, and then when she tweeted that she'd met him, he responded and saying, well, how about Anna, That Star Trek Girl? And being the great fan she is, she went right along with that. So let's go to a little clip from her show.
What's up, all my Ewoks, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Ahsoka, since the trailer has dropped, and yes, I have seen it. Now, there is a lot to unpack in this trailer, so I'm actually going to be doing individual video analysis of some of the more important things that I would like to talk about. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure that you're subscribed and all that jazz so you don't miss any of those videos. But the main thing that we saw in this trailer that we're going to talk about right now is, guess what they're doing? They are doing Heir to the Empire with Thrawn! But instead of Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia and Han Solo, it's going to be with Ahsoka! Yay!
So as you can see, Anna knows how to present. Yes, and she's definitely not hard to look at. Everything else about her, I will leave to you exploring her channel and her productions. She has featured channels, including That Star Wars Girl Live and Anna, That Star Wars Girl Art Studio. There are some very, very interesting aspects of her character that you'll learn as you watch. She is, as with the rest of the people I will be introducing you to, a huge supporter of other channels. She will fight for them as well as they will fight for her. And by fight, I mean when, for whatever reason, YouTube decides to shadow ban or any of the other nasty things like devalue their channels. For whatever reason, everybody comes to everybody's aid, and I'll say they get it fixed. So that's Anna, That Star Wars Girl. And also you'll notice the production values in all of these streams are very, very good. They know what they're doing. They've been doing it for a while. You'll notice in my stream, yeah, not so much. I don't do countdowns at the beginning. I don't do any huge long preambles except for this one, because I'm introducing you to my stream. But they all do very good introductions, except for a couple who do like me, which I really appreciate, and you'll see those in later episodes. Moving on to Nerdrotic. This is a channel been around for a while. I would say it was my second introduction to what is known as the Fellowship. It was a very interesting stream to stumble on, and the presentation, as you'll see, is right up front. It's one guy talking, but he's talking in a very clear tone. He's got very good production values, as I suggested, and he speaks clearly from the heart. It does great comparisons between what he knows of the history of comic book characters, and he does know a lot. And you'll hear more about that from his streams. But I want to make sure you understand that he's speaking from the point of view, as they all are, of someone who loves the source material, loved Star Wars, loved Star Trek, loved all these shows, because the characters in the good episodes were learning things from other characters that drove the story forward, that let them encounter an obstacle and either learn how to deal with it or learn how to go around it. What is really brought up a lot, especially in Star Wars, is the work that George Lucas put into it when he was going through the works of the great Japanese directors, the great storytellers from mythology, the works of Joseph Campbell and The Hero's Journey. He read those books. He talked to these people. He found out how to create a character with an arc that helps them or drives them to overcoming obstacles for the better good. And the better good in this case is, saving the galaxy. These are important things to do. But also the interpersonal relationships of the characters. What drives them? Camaraderie, friendship, love. And in the case of Luke Skywalker, finding out who his father really was and trying to overcome a disaster that happened to his father, being drawn to the dark side. So there's incredible stories, there's incredible arcs to all these from their original versions. And you'll hear about how through all these channels, they compare and contrast they do reviews, and their reviews are based on so much that they know and so much that they discuss with other YouTubers who are part of the fellowship. So let me move on to a quick taste of Nerdrotic.
I am Iron Man.
I know what it's like to lose. Feel so desperately that you're right. Yet to fail, nonetheless. I ask you, to what end? Dread it? Run from it? Destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
Nerdrotic.com.
Can't believe I'm about to report some good news for Disney. Don't worry, it won't last long.
I hope that you will check out Nerdrotic. Check into his channel. He's got alternate channels, Nerdrotic Daily, Nerdrotic Live. He has a lot of different opportunities, as does Anna and the others, if you subscribe to their channels at certain levels. You get certain things, you get private streams, all good stuff. So I hope that you will. And I will also mention at this point, I am not a member of any of their Patreon accounts, or I don't send them any money. Nothing personal. Love them. I used to. But in this case, since I'm reviewing them, I don't want any kind of thoughts of favoritism or whatever. I already like them. That's all you need to know. I hope you will subscribe to what you like, contribute to their monthly subscription, because it keeps their lights on, keeps them going, helps them out. So I fully support that. And I will, of course, have all the links from all these channels and more in the wherever it goes is part of the YouTube publishing thing. Let's now venture on to Midnight's Edge. As it says, this channel is devoted to analysis and intelligent discussion of your favorite stories and characters, as well as their various film and TV adaptations, and that sums it up really well. This is a panel show. And while Nerdrotic and Anna, that Star Wars girl, will appear on other streams in a panel, this is specifically a panel format. Well, you will see invited guests, regulars, who will be discussing what's been happening in the week, that day, the day before, and they'll have a menu, if you will, of things to discuss, and sometimes they even get to them all. But these are all very, very devoted fans. Many of them are in the industry. Many of them have devoted a lot of time and space to alternative fiction regarding these products. Some of them produce, some of them direct, some of them are editors. What you're going to see and hear are very insightful reviews. So let's have a little, oops, get back there. Let's get a little taste of Midnight's Edge.
This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Ticket sales for Indiana Jones have opened, and naturally, Disney and Lucasfilm were counting on positive reviews and hype from the Cannes screening to drive those ticket pre-sales. Because if there's one thing Disney needs right now, after Marvel's Quantumania lost them more than 100 million already, and with things looking bleak for The Little Mermaid, it is for Indiana Jones to be a smash hit.
What is important to note is you may not agree with the main theme of the show based on what entertainment media they are referring to or what program they're referring to. But you'll hear different opinions. And a lot of the opinions are, did it have customers showing up at the theater? Did it have positive reactions on different not streamers, but the sources of like Rotten Tomatoes of reviewers that are not, are fans and other things and pretty much corporate structured reviews. And how did that fare with what they know they saw and what they know they heard? Were there cheers in the audience during specific sequences where you could tell a cheer or something was expected? Was the general mood and attitude of those who saw the movie or the people that they watched the TV show with positive? Did they like it? Or did they feel it was just trash? You're going to hear a lot of different evaluations, and then you're going to hear some of the guests on the show really take some things apart, like script, acting, directing, producing. They'll take it apart. They'll say, why was this like this? And it's not always criticism. It's sometimes praising. Hey, that was a great thing to put in there. The timing was perfect. The acting carried it off. You'll hear all these things at Midnight's Edge, and that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy watching it, for all of the reviews that they give. Heel versus Babyface is one of my favorite channels for a lot of reasons. The gentleman who runs it, Az, has a great take, speaks extremely well. He is someone that I value their opinion. He understands what Western values are, what really means all of our values. When you're talking good versus evil, we're all on the good side, but he can really enunciate it very well. He also takes people to task for what they do. Again, his opinion, I value it. I don't necessarily always agree with it, but I value it and I understand what he's saying, and it makes me think. And that's what I like these folks to do. So here's I'll put it bluntly, a taste of Az.
Hi everyone, it's Az here from Heel vs. Babyface. Remember a couple of 3 weeks ago, we had that whole deal with Bud Light and he whose name cannot be mentioned because the organization, who apparently is under fire and vulnerable, is actually the most protected by all corporations, and they will rain down with righteous fury and something anger, whatever it is from Pulp Fiction.
I really to encourage you to check into his channel. He's also very large in the gaming area, online gaming. So there's that channel. He also has a featured channel with occasionally Robert Meyer Burnett, who we will be talking about in a later video, but he is the big kahuna when it comes to Star Trek. But Hot Toys, H-A-W-T, has another featured channel. You heard there is some political opinion that is prevalent amongst all these channels, but it's mostly pointing out stupid marketing tricks and things that don't work. And why did you do that kind of commentary? Whether or not you agree with it, up to you. But it's good to hear because it shows that all of the members of the fellowship care what you're being subjected to. Next channel is The Critical Drinker. He is a YouTuber who is doing extremely well because his product is just so good. Critical mind, writer, novelist working on a movie right now based on some of his work. And honestly, he drinks and says things. He does reviews, he does breakdown and analysis on modern entertainment media, and that's really what that show is all about. He does panels, and he does one-on-ones with a fellow YouTuber who will also be discussed in a future video. When I first came upon his YouTube channel, I watched when he reviewed and did a rewrite, if you will, of The Last Jedi. And his rewrite did everything that I felt was needed to bring these characters together, Luke, Leia, Han, and let them move on from where they left off. So I enjoyed it. I hope you look it up. If you check out his channel, I'm sure it's still out there. But now let's give you a little taste of the Critical Drinker.
For me, Into the Spider-Verse was one of those weird little movies that kinda came out of nowhere way back in 2018. An animated feature film about a character I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about that ended up being way smarter, more inventive, better written and emotionally engaging than 90% of the live-action movies being squirted out these days. In short, it was a film that made me pretty happy, and I was interested to see where they'd go with the inevitable sequel. I mean, I never expected it to take 5 years, but what the hell, it's 2023 and here we are, staring down the barrel of Across the Spider-Verse.
I think you can tell by his accent that he's not from the United States, nor are Heel versus Babyface or many of the channels that I will be sharing with you in later productions. One of the things that I find most encouraging is that from around the world, and you will be seeing reviews of mine if you choose to continue with my channel from around the world, YouTubers who have and share the same love of the content we've become used to when we were growing up, the good stuff, why it's good, how to keep it good, and their reviews of the current schlock that we're having to attend to, but also when a gem of a production comes out, a film like Top Gun Maverick, they all go with no hopes and then they come out with, wow, that entertained me, that was great, and here's why. And it just goes from there. They were all very keyed into the Marvel universe when it started. They were all keyed into DC comics, Superman, Batman, and they will always be providing reviews of those. And a lot of the reviewers, the other YouTubers, show up on the Critical Drinkers after hours and other review shows that when he brings people in. Because not only is it fun, hilarious to listen to them give their honest reviews, but everything is taken with the understanding that this is how it is now, please make it better. Moving along to the last of this review cycle is Clownfish TV. As it states, they do pop culture reviews, news, rants, and they talk about gaming, comics, anime, TV, movies, animation, and more. And in the end, more, Disney. This is a husband and wife team who have been doing this for a while, working together, raising a family. And they are both creatives, and they have worked in and around Disney. That's something they would never do again, and they will give you all of the reasons that if you watch their videos, why. They will give you what's going on at the parks, what's going on in the studios, what they know about animation. They can tell you volumes about what's going on and what's going wrong, including what they bring up in this clip.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the X-Men again, but we're not going to talk about prom. We're not going to talk about the Hellfire Gala.
Probably a lot of them are supporters of the Hellfire Gala and prom.
I'm sure. We're going to talk about Twitter driving the showrunner of X-Men 97 off of the platform, accusing him of whitewashing the character of Sunspot, who's being introduced, I believe, for the first time in animated form, because the voice actor they cast was too light-skinned for their liking. The voice actor.
But he is the from the country.
Yeah, he's Brazilian.
So they will, again, review and comment on stupid stuff they hear on the internet, as will most of the YouTube shows I'll be reviewing. And they're telling you things that you may not know about these places that produce the entertainment that we want to enjoy. And it's a good information to have because of everything that's going on in the industry, and it has been going on for like the last 5 years. So again, they take care of deep dives into places you may never want to go. So please check them out. I really enjoyed their programming, and they put out a lot of videos, so you get a really good idea of what's going on. YouTube channels that are coming up in my reviews will include the Burnettwork, and I mentioned Robert Meyer Burnett earlier. He is I call him the dean of Star Trek. He knows more about Star Trek than most anybody on the planet. And his reviews are spot on. Whether or not you like a particular show that's come out of Kurtzman's Star Trek, up to you. But he will give you his impression, and he will tell you why he feels that way and what they are usurping in that production that was perfectly set up in the original series and Next Generation and Enterprise and Voyager. I'll leave it there. Culture's Casino is I'll say, a wonderful streamer who gives a daily 6-minute review of what's going on that day. He gives a news report under 6 minutes, covering stories that you may have heard about, you may not know about, and it's, to me, all about entertainment and very interesting. And then he'll do a little side story on something that just caught his fancy. Very good YouTuber, shows up on Midnight's Edge and other streamers. I highly recommend his show. And then I'll mention D-Day Cobra and Geeks and Gamers, as they're pretty much one and the same. This is a gaming streamer. He also has a political commentary, which I'll just put it that way. You may or may not agree with him. He's willing to listen, he's willing to take arguments, and he will call out people. I love it. This is what America, in my America, is all about. Also featuring in the coming reviews will be Young Ripa 59. Amazing, amazing artist, gentleman, American, and comic book creator, creating a whole universe. And I think that you will learn a lot about the industry that he's escaping from, how he's created his own, how he employs, how he is honest with his customers, and that is the main story here. Being honest brings you where you want to go. Then coming up in other programming, and this is mostly concerned again with the entertainment side, there's also going to be some reviews of the music side. And the dean of that, and literally a music professor, Rick Beato, who I have been following for 2 years. I've always enjoyed his deconstruction of music. He picks stuff he likes. He shows you how amazing it is, and the people who came up with this chord structure, that chord structure, changing keys, etc. It's stuff I have no clue what he's talking about, but I love listening to it because it shows me, okay, this is why that was really good on my ear. That's why I liked it. His interviews with the famous musicians are just legendary. My favorite interview of his so far was with Sting. Wonderful time. And they all know him. They all know what he does on YouTube. And one recently that I watched was as he's breaking down some kind of chord structure, kind of making it up as he goes, this musician, well-known in bands for years, saying, tune in and say, hey, why are you doing that? I want to write that song with you. So he got him in for an interview. I hope you enjoy that review, but definitely tune in to his program. 5 World are friends of his, and the gentleman who hosts that, along with the other folks, they give you a history of guitars and other musical instruments, but mainly guitars. And that to me is my thing, my passion. I love hearing about it. How the company started, where they went, where they're going, the sounds, everything. Mary Spender is a wonderful musician and artist that I started following based on her interview with Rick. I also will be going into the legal area with you and reviewing Legal Mindset and Rekieta Law. Now, Rekieta Law to me was the one that tuned me to Legal Mindset and others. So I highly recommend checking him out. He has many different places he posts his things and does live streams besides YouTube. And you'll be able to find it out from him. So also, I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite channels and one of my first channels I started watching, and I was living in California, in Southern California, called Smoke and Scan. This guy's great. And if you are 420 friendly, you will enjoy the show. Please check him out. You will have a great time, and you'll be seeing live stuff as it's happening. The other place I'm going to go is with Dr. Becky, because she is a astrophysicist from Great Britain, England, and really she does some wonderful shows on the night sky, on recent happenings with the James Webb Telescope, as well as other telescopes, and she just talks about what's going on today in the world of astrophysics, and there's a lot of fascinating stuff going on. Plus, she will do, at the end of her show, blooper reel. That's hilarious. One of the things that you'll find about most of these YouTubers, and I mentioned it earlier, they are very self-depreciating with humor. It's just wonderful to see people who don't take themselves too seriously, but take what they are giving you in the way of entertainment very seriously. Also coming soon is Sydney Watson, Dr. Sydney Watson, and Amala from Unapologetic. Honorable mention, I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm not going to be reviewing their channels. Is Mike Zero and Doomcock, also known as Overlord DVD. And that's your first show of One-Eyed Jack Reviews. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, great, and thanks for hanging along. And if not, great, and thanks for hanging along. But I do hope that you will tune into the shows that I may have introduced you to or reminded you of. Here's all the legal stuff to end the show. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Please, as Culture Casino likes to say at the end of his shows, be good to others, take care of yourself, wash your hands, because it's good practice and sanitary, and you will see me in the next version of One-Eyed Jack Reviews.